edu bio abono nsia memeneda GWAC studios ho ni baby ba ko pa obekwa we ni beje o wa ni be yi na edije enso ebeba efie krobia so o ma bia so baby a uti efie bia na ofe efie bia yasse munyina nse ma munyina trase ye ma munyina akwapa bi wajide ni awehye mu sen nenso bio senia onyame ye da no enenso ubeye enhira enti bomodi ana fra unu obi mfra obi no obi mfra obi na obi mfra obi eso yanko
ye frefre ho na ye de enkomo no ahihye so na ene wani beji bebre wani beji wo hwepa senia ye titi ho yi a last week na kai wo say papa ene maame be ka ye ho na adwuma ne do so nti bibi esi wo mo kwan na ene de erade adum uhu wo mo life enti ene wani ebeji bebre enti na ye de asida emanyame a wakran abo ye ho ban ama na otwefofro akwapra betu ye bio na wama ye hu anim anim na emoje di afrusane na tekrema eda abodwie mu eya dum na odi abo adum so amaye enwumre yi ye mpai bo ane se nyame nkonkron o maye na adwuma no fantiase ene asumdwe emerere fie mu amen
onyankopo ema asumdwe ni ahoto emerere fie mu kwan be no nam so berere fie mu onam yawade mu anase yawade so no di berere fie mu owura eni owura yire echampon me ma yemamo akwaba
yeah jani yeah
amen
yojide na we shemu se mo hoye pa
Kristo atunti
atani ade nyina obi a hoye
nyame ado hoye papa
mo de menye mo obi a won trafo asu
edmo mo da edmo so mo sai sira
so no na bu no pa enya de da form kra na wotwe a etwa mu no etiefo ana na wotwe mi enu etwa mu no ye ne owura yire echampon ehia na ye ntwumadi a yedi ye no brofo kasem ye tu na di ye tu ni din say causes and effects of abuse in marriage, causes and effects awadi mu bro ni ankeka kasem ne niema enye kwanko a enam so ba na se ebanso a ni betimi di aba se ediba wie nso a ekwan be na ebetimi afa so a ankasa ade nka makora nka na otwumi enu etwa mu no dwumadi a ye ne owura yire champon edi ye causes and effects of abuse in marriage. As a matter of fact, we were supposed to continue last week, but for some reasons we couldn't, and so we had to bring in something today. By the grace of God, they are here once again, and as a result of that, we are going to continue the same topic again. And so I would say the part 2 of causes and effects of abuse in marriage. Say the medical can put on a 10. The way you know say na otwe mienu a etwa mu no ye ni owura eni owura yire echampon ye benkum ni nifa ye ni omu edi duman ye nwie ele ye san ato so na ansa na ye be hyase no obeni me ma wakwala
ye ja
na otwe mu nyina se na ne makọ
Ewrade adumti abo ya meni na busua ele mo kani ni mo fra ni na ho ban.
That's right.
That's what you say. Ti Ewrade adum na wo bibia koso kama
bibia koso
ye ko dire bai ye bibia so no kan ho. Nti aseda ne di ma Ewrade se wasan dia ba be kamonsa awa.
Amen.
Ti be say kuma we yashini dia.
Ye de nyame ase. Mrs. Tampon, Princess Akwaba.
Yeah,
GWAC studios no asan ba bi mu no. Ye na no ye ya ye nwie no. Ye san ato aso ene. Chia etiefo.
Yo, adofo no ye chechia mo nyina e wo nyame ye cha nyame oba nyame susukuku. Se de dade ni mami aka no. Fre unia bi na unia bi so fre ni mi bi na enye hira e ma program. Obi tibia regardless of your faith. Ye wo hase e bi hira ma mo nyina. Nyame hira mo se mo yesa e wo Yesu di nti
amen. Right. For to kick off no. Say the medical can the causes of cause and effects of abuse in marriage. I remember said 2 weeks ago, no, we did talk by the help of Mr. Champon and then you can what really is abuse in marriage. Because abuse crowd or any day. And I feel you shall say can't causes. You can't causes no, and I feel bad effects. Na I feel say if there could be some ways that we can avoid abuse in marriage. Na send you no program be we are review. Na I'm say right after a review now you will say baby what ya come into details and then maybe on so I to me anka and until it me say dwumadi na nya na wotwepe dwumadi enti yes say ye be san abihia bi mu na na ye ka mu no na ye de atoaso if you asante achim na emre bi etwa mu ye see this bi ba o me mo ndi for some reasons e dey be me mo ana ye say okoma speech na o ma speech no Command asante achima agogo no come speech no owie na the secretary ka chense DC asama na wo kan na plural na wo kan but one fa s no one fa s no kan no yem fa se bia na wo kan boys mo asem boy na the secretary say that na you plural na you say ka the s kan program mo see close to amanfo we no mo fa we fa na this is so many kamu no nam ni pan was what is all the snack I can't say some kind of plural singular. It become and until the yasan abe and until send ye share as sia na and I ye shall see if me mark 1 or 2 things beer especially ye shall see a crown say what is abuse no cool no say me be amemo demom no muna moye the friend say convener of the program ankasa edunti yeni ka ne emfa nhya monsa ne ebe ba bia mode hyase ansa le kwa be mu a ye obi a ye da beka
okay yo eja ene ma eda masma say ene so mama ye akonya na me hira mo pa say mo hwe mu ana mo so mo ton sa frese mama doso but was we for doso adoni na na mo hwe mu ana mo ton sa frese ura gifty a chance champon gifty a champon bra na on be come ni say adwuma na me gide say adem say hia mo na ya follow mo so wache e wo mo music marriage friends in seminar ni program mo ye wo program eso enti no yeso ye ni je say nim de kakra rade dia amaye no yeso de ba be kan won na ya kire ama ahye se na be ya se ne botes mo ni so se be ma asumdue ebeba awaresem ne efie mu ni ade no yeso ye de aba be kan won enti na ma wo ha enumere na say last week no ye ma tiefo ne ahwefo nyina the causes of abuse and also its effects in marriage. The boss will be brave and you maybe like how it affects a friend saying in the pedia one abuse no any or abuse will be now on your way and the effect is so I won't pan abuse no so any or more abuse almost say in collabs to cry or moves almost the effects on them. And internet your man who say it comes in the form say abuse the church man who say it be on my domestic violence. It do a psychological violence, it do on my emotions. And I mean you made me church na send ya okay yent me anwie you know you hear said yam fa bianka ho no na ejiri say e ko hwemu na ehu say e bi won ya ntache na kakra so a nyame aba e be yon kakra ne say abuse no enya basi ya abuse obi a say effect no what say na e be sie ho no afa na broni ato ni dia friend say e friend bi trauma trauma enti no obi a go in wa experience abuse in a relationship and now say he has experienced that any form of abuse in a relationship or in marriage, you know, it goes through some kind of a trauma. Now trauma no you betimi a achiche maka say trauma no ejina It can be accident, it can be in domestic violence, it can be sebia one kasa you are driving na when you see na say bibia to na asasam boni bia see na go through. Nina can be a form of trauma. The banesa no so na nipa ye no ye brain na dem it may register Emma sa negative experiences na nipa nyama. It mean the nyama ni how ni bebre breast nipa. Ebi ni se bi onipa no nya nightmare se bi oso da ebone because the brain I say anything I store the information sanity. Enti mo timi say ni onya intrusive thoughts money ade. Etimi mo na create anxiety mo. It's helped me create a whole lot of mental health problems. A basa so etimi mani pano so no the person finds difficult to regulate his or her emotions. And then and e be kom kakra. Na ehu ekwan e be fa so a saa ne manyina ba ekwan nipa be fa so adem ho afrim ana say obetimi a recover. Then na mato ne din say friend bibi trauma stabilization therapy.
Okay.
Wow.
Just no e be chirechim kakra. E be hu say the nipa no wa kosa atibe no nyina no betimi aiden hu ne so wo ye na wetimi afiri. Enti the betimi start afiri ho no na say enka ha mu a enka say omo ama last week no ana so man tie last week no enko mo betie yenye bibi like recap kakra.
That's right.
Na enka yentimi hu a friend saying the ebobo so kakra. And you know, abuse comes in the form of so many types. Now, the general abuse, one of them is physical. Now, physical abuse, say sometimes almost a baby violence. Now, it didn't want you domestic violence.
That's right.
And domestic violence, mostly it happens in relationship. Any church woman who say, we should move and 85%, mostly is women are the victims. Office of National Statistics talks about the victims. Those who are victims of this 85% are mostly women, and then the 15% were also men. Then we came to a point to say women are more vocal. Women can talk about their issues, their problems. So when they are going through form of abuse now, they easily go on and report. Whereas men also sometimes due to their Amoah said your mama myself I didn't feel so. Remember the idea cry comedy no I cannot take it. No I take it in 20 remember need report. Until he say member dey no so no form ti bia member na were not reporting tin na bia member dey but there's a member also go through form of abuse, either physically abuse or any form of abuse, manipulative or manipulation and all that. And I can't even say sexually so we talk about people who have been abused sexually and so or it could be either Burma to Oba. In any kinds of sexually harassment, sexually abuse from beyond as you go. Then we went on to talk about mental aid.
Before saying about mental once we are doing the recap, it's a part of the physical abuse, if I remember, the effects will be a abuse physically, obey me suffer ya DB.
Yes.
Physically, ya DB bet me. Yes. Be abusing physically.
Yeah.
And we are abusing physically. Beat me crime. Say it and scars. You can say
trauma,
bruises.
Yeah.
Go on your bone.
Yeah.
One and then you could it can be a bit down. Nina, and I will be sweet me suffer high blood pressure and heart attack. These are all effects of someone who has been physically abused. Yeah.
And pray. And in sense, Papa me that say what this side is what kind now. Send the Papa kind, it looks like those who have been physically abused, they go on, and I said they go on to develop what we call mental health problems.
That's right.
Things like the anxiety might come in. Not any panel, I feel not as I am share. I cannot just stand behind on any panel. I say, or any hustle. I say, I'm one who share ni shell. exactly was so strong in Pemus or continue to the extent that ya sorry so many other class if you want to sister and as a brother wants to or no a lively pa I feel who na one reserve no on come on
sister the on penny pa bread on penny pa as they abuse no
can I say sanity because he said nipa go through mental health programs no and momutimi e attend bia no it creates some distrust. Any partner relationship abuse or abuse. And when that happens now feel stand your home and flashbacks. So and I say ultimately they cut the emotional to see as a pound and I see being patron episode any be born saying no way no on from and intrusive memories so and also you can want them. So it can generate a lot of intrusive thoughts. Money and they now say I feel it do baby so cry na nipa no feel say ni ato no ehun hia so betra wiase bi na I feel Amoah say why helpless why hopeless worthless good it is any man you bit me did so o mo aya bi so it can lead to say be any papa for be saying depression so scratch
yeah
now a very dangerous and when the person get to that stage now then the person start experiencing suicidal thoughts. And I said, why? Because suicidal ideation.
Psychological effects.
Exactly. And I don't know, idea when I waiting in abuse, so I say, yes, I call Papa, so the topic I by one of the points I raise here and say financial abuse.
That's right.
Economic abuse.
That's
Nina, when I say, will be out because or car say, or say, on my Nikun and Juma or local. Now, in there, I say, and Papa car says, and yes, and car. Send for any Kibina, you money in Chentem, you are not going to go baby. And I'm so because Papa is all my young grandma, a better chief bills now. The honest, yeah, it was a financial and economic abuse, so you can't was them. Oh, now, and look, criminal in our father, and I walk a friend is saying, your emotional abuse, a use when that happens now, and any panel hasn't got the ability and he's not able or he or she is not able to regulate his or her emotions because of what the abuse the person has gone through and then also it becomes a problem and then you know said no could see a first no who so to me yes so this is where MC Kamani Kuku is here then on Yami say this all this abuse no comes under the form what we call trauma.
Before say over to us on man fa bibi in shimu hasi ko ansana Mr. Champon atwaso. Em say last no brand new didn't come on it became plain say ade no kra abuse no obi o kra no a first of all no me aye abuse no and not the abuser no ono emu no kwatore bo na they don't really know. Onim say ade a me abuse me yire me abuse me kun.
That's right.
And I say bikum ade a oye or abuse me.
Yeah.
It's a busiani aye nyina e bia na okra na yare sa yade yi abuse bi na unim. Ben chekire ya chekire e ben won say sa ade am de yam yiri say me abuse no.
Yeah.
Sa ade am kun de yam say o abuse me. Na fe ye nyina e hu kwan ye be fa so a say na e bi ka e no kwan ye be fa so a anka sa ade no emma. Nti sa wutie yen a it's not necessary so ba akofo nko na enya ebi awa mu kura wo mu ani da fom yi na tie nsem we kono wo say say me yiri say me kunu ache
but before when we say ma minister to us na dia ba ko a na because seven me di shame ni say you can say obi abuse obi a ana ware mu abusive we na ye share no the money is more effective and it me ye juma so be worry obi a is supposed to be someone that you love. You give all your heart. Everything is for your husband or for your wife. And see a more ways or you be na enya and no idea it's money affect because it's like a command obi a what devote to be pia dia mano obi a wodi wakoma wodi wo chese you are or he or she is your everything. And he said, or you be na and ya would me dream who a question. And one thing I said, we know Kunti and now. No, it's not be cause there, cause yeah. It's me, ya affect what you plan fee, where depressing. Mimi understanding, Kakra menya from last 2 weeks, and next and start seeing. You be Kakra may for money say, and now say your crunum and I don't back Yakuma hopa entino. Say the Bibia or more. A more didn't say bet me, Papa, a bet me Eddie. Good impact abroad and our bonnet swap. A bet me at the major almost to extend the say 1 year. Bet me cry actually and say, a bet me a managing assay.
Yes.
Sapa penny, penny forcing me cold in a man can be yana enter in Koye. Now to me, and said, enemies is a champion yan at na. Say, Capona fee yatwas. Mammy, then I said last week, last 2 weeks,
They said the market can say. Dear, and I serious power cry, me cry so not. I was saying, you to me be the boy yadofo. Dear, say, send it papona, abuse on him. Any abuse and so in himself me abuse any pay. And nay, is also a did but I so serious say. Now the enemy caca say it to me my deep blood pressure ever. Blood pressure, yes, so we are dear or a silent killer, a war, a lower, a bit in your and a co high, so and also a bit near coon. So I'm going to aha, Cosi and Cosi Coda and Coda, and Tina say, idea, a yes, serious power was say, Yena, ye na ye shenning, so na ye more, Eddie Baby, because ye shower re more, it sounds our re, Yamia and Cora woman in Tin, a affect ye, man, this will be brave. I feel Bros and Colano, Sacolani, mammy, and Nanny Papa, depressor. We all had you close to Barcon. This is man, Colai, my on the young way close to Papa. Once and then my answer so my depressed. Some man is also almost so maybe affect you almost. Into your idea be or say you're in Sopana, yet try na prevent to say, Emma, Emmy Baby by your fear. And my baby, a bit funny yourself.
My men so I don't know. Kakra make answer a minister, Bemuni say. The word abuse na ye treat Wahana. Ye de who yes, so be cry abuse for him and the abuse and so nimona. Didn't I drink or so and I didn't see any minister. Ye can be far our background. Baby, if you buy I am no Martina. Ben my before to me pony.
That's right.
Oh, obey to me the dinner quantum, obey to me Cassani Kuana, any hour. Yes, for say a normal. Enti nyame adom ne adesua mu na yehu society na ekoso aware mu no ye wo word bi e de mana ye friend abuse so wo tiatia wo yire wo keka wo yire hye wo kasa no wo bo no wo ye wo kunu eniema anya na wo ye wo yire eniema anya broni friend abuse enti abuse ne na ye wo enipa bi a omo asuasu adwene mu niema na so omo specialist was niema no enu ti ye kyerɛkyerɛ yen se kane no niema na ye maame no ne ye papa ne nananom ye e wo Ghana no a na ye feel say eye normal no say enye normal e wo din na
Abodi
enye normal sa obi betimi abu ne yira na nanim nyina pra moja na eye be ma obaadi oye so obono
abuse.
We did do a year time free stroke or si form. Abuse. Enti ye church them say, Sanya man say a wordin, it's me affecting me pagine. It's me many pacritic in life. Amoah, and Minty. Ya quite enemy, yes, yeah, dear, yet too quine. Na a dim winning with dear chair bimu, Mumma ain't see, na fa and yet you man, a web way.
And a man will cry, man will cry, no. My abuse muno or can ye share on person yere and you be a becassa or person yere beco bia or carbontian or tum which your first say, oh, yeah, the mamres and or ban ni home quite or dressing type of dressing be even I talk last week I did say even I talk Christo sum cray yam sum Christo sum cry. He been more quantity be quite abuse.
Yeah.
Especially on the side of a man.
Yeah.
When so buy you say, no, so Katamina, I can't pay quantity. Women, I say.
Is it good remotion? Yo, Papa. Said the topic na diabetes marriage. Let's just say hono here pa. In the sense, you know, there are reasons in here friends abuses happen in marriages. Now some of the reasons no say nipa na on the no he is not even inability to tolerate being hurt.
That's right.
And you're number one. And number two, growing up in an abused family. And I'm all cancer see and I'm a whole here make a cry. Make a was me and me who video be a call. Na say a call viral say Ghana say African countries need a view. And na bema pa waf chin aba na o blame the yere.
What is the school?
Oh, believe na man focus on na ti mo pattern baby any wonya no pa na point no bi was afa ba na o san de bon sometimes akoi na dream you correct e bia na dream atochima na die ntia me kasa ne say last me can send you last week ni say bi human excreta ayi ana say human waste e feces a obi control send the yere afa na chintu wo de ma be man de ma oba ne so oba na eni. Now, if you could show man, you must say any panagim. What you say, baby, one man said, Nipanagim.
Last week, I can't say, remember the way or my dream.
Sanity,
him say, I dream and
good. Baby, be a ochonsa, at the boy. Fini. Not a baby, one baby yat. Miss Ramon, who finds himself make us ask him. But you didn't tell you. If you 30 years in me or said me the missa cry I want to see that on the two moments.
The one who the one and the one would do.
Then they be a midi no. Oh, Bema who did there more dear. Colonel Yoko Bema Coco shell boxing with Azuma name. Why a friend Mike Tyson one name Bruno Nina Sephon, no go share no more boxing. Now Bema that was what she about bring or banana. Pattern baby or swinty. Notice we're proud or by an area so. Now, Mr. Uncle Bonena, why is a community police and so on so on. And I'm so who say, oh, Bema, Benket is you, yeah, why you don't know. And I'm such a chain of this share, and then a family, and there's any at the abyss or hey. No more brim now, but I mean, I know Mr. Soso because I never right. You can't take the law into your hands. But ultimately, idea my kind of say, it has become say, yeah, and I'm saying, yeah, yes, who sign your mama. You baby, yeah, titty, and your friends, if you feel say, Papa Phone, Bomma, or more, you don't know me, I didn't fancy a normal. And if you must be now raised up in an abuse environment, and abuse will be now. When the person grows up now, he or she also grows out to abuse others. It is a very careful part. Yet the old year, now one chance or more healing house, it can affect them. Now, as soon as you see any if you feel now, if I can see an say, as soon as our young feel. It has led to so many marriage breaks down, any divorces. There are so many cases like that, or more ever many more. What you say, I brought from the end of the airtime crowd. Meet me if I don't ban be a bear no ban so I don't like him or her anymore. And you know, straight away, Ube cat den, Ube Kumusuno, and yes in the oh, and some ways are a friends, domestic violence, abuse, and so a trench and I may call the next one. Lack of boundaries in marriage. Our year beyond, they have to be respect.
That's right.
Between Obama and Bearman.
That's right.
So send your walk on said one to me and poop when each Obama. So and I said Bearman because if you are one walk over and they say, Menamatis can walk over, my own idea, wow, and to say, it to wait man, Obama, your baby are, and no one who can't say, a bassana, one man, what breaking boundaries. We don't respect Nipana or the one in the bed. It's a very important person. The said there have to be boundaries, and that tells me say it's very important. Say they make sure say respect will be always maintained in the marriage.
Papa, what can someone me respect is very, very important to me personally. So when you bit na umuna, and I bet me I didn't any bear for one answer, Ubeka by heart, and I'll bet it and anyhow.
Yeah.
Say it me maintain no respect our real and now be him say ha and now met me I way I could do. Ya the boundary attitude to her. And I think say as something can a bear humanity as some baby brother fever.
And a cray. Now, the toss will be a man. Say lack of empathy.
Ah.
Say nipa money or ban any bear man on me who and yet me who's in the Messiah can you know. Say, oh, they.
O treaty o yonko sa wo.
Good. Say one gasa wo.
Ade afo say ade we me enye me den no. Me fa nye me yo.
Exactly. And as you putting yourself in this the person's
shoes
same exactly. The independent shoes in the same and say the same.
Ade am dey here ni say me na dey me.
You don't to be nweni star ya.
Oh, and na uhwe so say Bible kra me ati ase say ye ho nam dua and na ye de ball. Ye mfe baako. Ye de ball. Oba so o mekan won here your boy ni se so boafo enti wa nkasa won fe baako ene de aba oba na wa nkasa wo twonsa na wo biri mo oba no na wo nyiti ma bia ma no enti wa ti wo sen
this is one of the psychological sense I lack I mean not sure say those people who abuse their partners they think and I say they thought to say they are doing it against themselves.
No. Mem cry. A benny musta or the idea ye what? Or self, would you hear? One thing is a different person. People cry. Excuse my words. The people cry to me can say, if you are said only if you want tribe, maybe or no yet different tribe, which me can say. I don't want to say it because it's too heavy for my mouth to say. O bona busuye din say mukra momo ye nipa. It's very, very bad. Now who say we ni nyina say na Bible kan no. We ni nyina ye adi force ye kan say ni bi. Mu nyina mu di ade ba ko e wo Yesu ahini enimu a. You don't do such Bible mem. Asana nia ye kika de efri ba nyina no. Bible e ma ware mu. Bible ba ware mu a ye du ba bi bibi be kem ye.
Yeah. And okay. Because of say lack of empathy in the marriage in it, I must say Bema Uchichi Obana.
Obviously Onitima, empathy Onitima.
Yes. Good. Onitima. And this Actima any one to know. Or ye be or ye be now. He doesn't care. On doing cry. On name the best CHD. Say the media media the institution a Beba media so.
One thing is say near
affect me as so more.
Thank you. And I guess I may come. So we didn't create Jina Chenya. Of course, say, what boy my dear Chintia, and any money now, woman. Tiano Power Money, whom you didn't know. Son and Polani Befi.
Yeah.
And what are you going to tell the children?
There be another woman.
I think it's all what we are saying is very, very, very good. But it is Sebastian abuse no. So a brown the physical one you will be able. But I can tell you say there are millions of abuse. Young woman, psychological, emotional, and all those things. They abuse you, they abuse you. Sesaka no, and you who said the Broma can you be the yen.
Mamma, Mr. Question, we say, sir, only be abusing the physical, and I say. Obi ni ne yira na ni kunu ti na bibi ni a de bia na waka ene obi a onka na o habo ni in na enu ti no wo ye niam a on peditra na say na attitude in natural say bibi ha ne bat on fa wo o woni won discuss won kan kire na wa ye moody which one is there hin ninim say ni nyina anya de ba mo man hwe say anka de o kan de bia no and then your own can then you know acting on it now or my when you're comfortable which one do you go for it?
Okay,
go for it. But me that Chakra mechanic said yeah on can and on a more dangerous because on the so I see that the way they also penny for so ton area na. Aha. Into what on Albania
ade wo sumu so edi ewu ba han
na e wo sumu a edi ewu
ya ba han mo ni edi o ka no me dey enye serious but the on ka no wo sumu wa bia wan dey wo fa bi kura dey
no dey awo ana so no kra omo kra no mutumi kum omo
sanity
ano so dey yawe bebre no mi ade ba na bibi keto bia na me pese me chi queen say on so say Nyankopon asem say odi enfe ebema oyi oba baako
fin pade baako no de
boy
baako only one internet say I was say automatically mema no say mema no mo ye strong pa e che ma because fin pade no edoso ebi wa ha na say baako pe na Nyankopon de ball oba dia na che say o say mema wo automatically say we ye kitu with all due respect we ye kesi we ye tie we ye ayu also won say obro oba ni so bebre
yo papa say twice na back point back and say can say the causes in abuse in marriage, you know. One of the problem also a woman causes say substance abuse. You can want some say be a bear man or no ban or no be an orphan or no drugs. And as no alcohol. No beer or no alcohol. Now some drugs either a bit boost to Amoah high or feels high no way guy something different. My wife came per natural mind and I'm the man. Cannot use it think to make decisions. Yes. Now alcohol idea it mean or tell behavior. A bit man why artists will be our bottom. And you know, or corrients are not bad or necessarily you be some assembly and man that's what pine. O man that's what no good to know say no can amount safe you on your money until substance abuse it can be drugs, cocaine, alcohol, whatever. Nina a cause problem abuse in marriages. And until I say be a now new clue and I know you it could be oba na bema. Na obi we are no and no so by Sunday said be nipa no oba e wo bro
oba we are no open
sir. Obi so no onum no open ni nyina e cause a betimi amaya den abuse especially with the domestic violence near the no we could say no bad ya and that be obeka bia no or just enko na dwum kra because
Bible Paul I think he wrote to the church in Ephesus or say my mobro and son he said and to the human sign the effects in marriage can be maltreatment, which can cause the victim to feel isolation. Now isolation, and your bass and any pan and a can, you can't born say any pan to me a reserve watching where free. Since no you're very active or a sorry mo the community mo Juma Muni any other crana, one any pan one more, not I said. Who's asked this is a brother new city and singing sound on TV was a son. Let's just say maybe there's
why we draw
she said be a cause of abuse, some form of abuse because with fear and as won't mean an uncle. Emma at the second point it may create fear inside the panel. It may create distrust because relationship now in the panel it's one of the things that make relationship team ban trust.
That's right.
Now say oh nipa no or trust so now or trust no. So no I physically attack you and abuse you in any form whether verbal or any psychological abuse now. And my trust now woman nipa e break it trust. And it because of that nipa no distrust. Na it means sign nipa bebre. And also it can go to say it can lead to in the future say be say our any go cry na so relationship break it down cry na the next person be share cry and more trust him say
anything na yetimi ka say oba bi wo ho a na dwen ne say be ma nyina anye and a be ma bi won so na dwen ne say be nyina anye because of trust I will lose no other man and say other woman
apart from say we yire ana wukunu no enkwala bebra voro so mo wareda because abusive home and abusive environment grow up in feel say to say they don't want to get involved. You have a brave.
The effect of abuse in marriage on children. For children witnessing or hearing one of their parents being abusive or violent towards the other, it can be very, very distressing, painful, damaging experience, which can have long lasting effects.
It's
true.
And Papa near say when is that say any pana or the victim of the abuse, no. Name of those around, especially be and cloud around now, it can have a very big impact on them in their development stage. You know? And as they grow old, you know, they see this is what was happening. And in their mind, you know, it's normal. Also, you go on to do the same thing. And to what creates one problem, but are creating more problems.
That's right.
And they say
unknowingly.
Into who feels out the nipa back with your bearman out of your bar, and I saw bar dear bearman. Who feels somebody young one, name no. Or more rounds, right? Affected. And into Nigeria, can we say, your crew, especially Ghana, there are about 3 million of Ghanaians with mental health problems who have not been diagnosed. And to imagine yourself, daughter, and I said, oh, ma, Echo, she has any pen over, I know. Nesse, I didn't touch a crabby, as someone else or then the Obana say, I can't any beer. Not a touch a crabby pet. In tears, and then I dream, baby, and maybe inquire you. Oh man, that's why I abuse me did so.
I mean, that former mommy, Obi Bomama near say, Seminia Paya, I remember a Musamo medical expert in Kakana. You can't abuse your master. Said the medical kind fiscal one, no, a bono with Chino, why I say no dear, a so open, being and say, oh, yeah, abuse. Yeah, but Obi Kachem said, Ben may be in the yet or Nasa. Or Bano, and then a whole egg coming kuno pad, and then the Beme won't chill or bear saying ye da. And a Beme being so crowned, so be been a year. Or more force, and also is one of abuse. The Nuna secret now, where you said the air case and send any open. One can't be a and she will be me. So be when near your yard, Obishia will bet me besides, hey, Ukwabuana, and I Yabuana, and I didn't know. But it will be a one now. I'm not quite sure. Somebody told me obisi 6 months, obisi 1 year, obisi 3 years.
And then you couldn't and share
Edda Kataba also, and she a muda.
I don't know why they abuse young women.
But the young father, if we can deal with it in the opposite way. So, Bemana, 3 years, nada. What kind of abuse na sabe papa or family?
One thing is that before I'm paying for the Belmono, never can say, Enya worry in the first place.
What's one nigga in a
but our real no, our real BBM, our real cost, but and nano, and the two shall be one standing on a nano. 80 so we know you need 1 year, 2 years, no, and the two shall be one man one. Any pen name somewhere worry for, but Mwaka Sanka some winning somewhere worry for. Open Jenna. Young fan says, be a man, and yeah, abuse, I'm going through this. So, what one way I can't will be needed. Omupia boom, BBI okay. No, back move money. It is a foot to obey. And yet they ma or no, and they may even say, Nipacon and Sally be as our way here can count it. Or I mean, so. But what happened, Papa? If obedience son say bad, Neil said this and said, what really happened? Then I'm in the now 1 year, Miss Menina. Then I'm in the made it all. Now 1 year, Miss what really happened? Whatever happened, you sorted out. I reckon, but a pure now I was so back with me open up, and I back up, come down. Now issue now, oh, yet me sorting it out because I Obi on one, or no crab better, and oh dear, none or no better, but not Jinimono, where Jawa worry. Oh, not Jinimono. Yeah, not Jinimono because I sit down in it, only to send a year and not a coon. Yeah, and don't see a woman say, whatever so one now abuse ni nyina ba say adwene na ye kan adwene na ye kan eti we need to whatever it is no was it calm down anaba perform ba continue for so na yet ye because our be for long time if the person is ready say
people are abused or they are abusive. Ignorant.
Yes.
Without knowing. You see, sometimes we take things for and why and I'm say or abusive relationship, but you program someone say abusive relationship into what
Okay.
Even though one can't in detail,
abuse in many forms. Na say the abuse say the kai be a verbal abuse. Yet me and abuse. But by being here, say so many organizations. I'm money. Relationship. Relate. RLATE. They help in resolving relationship breakdowns, problems. They are talking about marriage issues for quite some time. You know, and you know, experience. But for experience, the best teacher. And you know, send your experience now. Apart from that, physical violence, all these issues can be resolved. Some say yeah, friends.
That's right.
Na mo be I very important because
very interesting. Nia Nedi abuse once eba. Unresolved issues so say aware said the worry no and ti asem we abe I'm not gonna sit down because life must go on there was some meet me and never way yeah bring up this that ain't it will be an enemy. And near my body now was
still question say program here and go nim say or abusive relationship naturally say dwuma ya di pa ya ka bibia me no say say no ku che wo no yerete na wo de saade we yi ya wa na o abuse am say before say question ne beba no kra no na gifty can be ma na can say ade wosum mu ne de awuo ho nsensem ne ade no ene de minister started say o address asem your kan nyina afutu a de ba ne say waku from program we mo waku say you are in abusive relationship and don't keep it in the first place try say first of all nipa na nkasa na ukun o so yire no ene ne nkasa ho say first na minim say metimi ehun say saade we a wo de ye me you are abusing me let's talk if you know crop ade kodi a me ya enu ntima wo yes an bejai won so fi na confess anyim bi for some time there that so koso you don't have to keep it
yes
ade wo sum mu edi ewu e ba han mu eni akode bi said the odi ka say we Christian a wo asofo wo asofo mpanimfo marriage committee for ana obi o baby bi a wo respect na onim say wo ware a che wo experience you can speak to them sasumesi wo ko kan so mfa na chi ma nya wo anu hu say ade na one wa kan no a enye yi now wo de kwa bonten wo ko bo bi amane e friend no amane ye ne nwanwa I think say true that no enko si say mpenfo be frɛ no mbe kasa bi tumofo ana bia ebi kura nyame ncha de nam wa mmienu kura mo atimi aso na nko ba bia nemom no don't keep quiet
that's right
and no dey don't keep quiet am say last week you can appoint bi ma na shoko nkrofo kakra last 2 weeks no mpo na mde ba say one of the abuse no one way of getting out of the abuse no say ebi no mo ho a they want to control obi o person control ni obi o person control ni ku one of the ways would be getting away is don't man kwa so control it is over there ya too much don't give in that's because akoya abuse no we also akofa abuse no na so akoya the chain you no crowd the abuse
that's right
that's it
yo that na it me the effects of verbal abuse now.
Na you bet me awie asem.
You bet me adukra na can be trauma for instance stabilization therapy no. Na ka ho hia me pa say obia wakomu bia no enema miensa bi o mu asenke timi bobɔ so. Na kam say can be about the effects of verbal abuse.
Yanko.
Na eno no na ye ka say it causes psychological effects. And I mean, I will say all these stress near the idea it can be part of somebody going through verbal abuse. Oh, now it leads to post traumatic stress disorder. Then it comes under trauma. And this trauma, no, I will say, kucha, and I say, adiebi, a child ne daho. Ten biano hua, scan now high. And into no idea as I say, ye shannon some pa na ansana bia ube who say, Sanya manogo to maybe na too late. And as I saw to me, how I will be regain your life back.
Yeah.
Oh, and to a year, I think a brebe dan yamoboso kakra.
Yanko.
So now you what is trauma itself and kasa. Now trauma now understanding is what post-traumatic disorder post-traumatic stress disorder no, it can be very complex. One form of abuse no can lead to complex traumatic stress disorder, which is because nipa go through some abuse into no, it leads to so many then generally speaking, a trauma is extremely stressful life event. When it happens now, it causes shock.
Yeah. And
then nipa no our going through that shock no wants to fight for survival, and I say he wants to the person goes into what we call survival response. Now survival response no, it's very important. Say nipa no be hu how we be smiling. So when he's in that kind of response, survival response mode now, na mato ayindin se bia enema ba miensa na sa stabilization. There's 3 stages of nipa go through trauma. Now say when you are delivering that trauma therapy now, the first one is stabilization.
We stabilize
Sanity, because we'll move from the original stabilized situation into unstable position. And into the first thing to do is say Sanipan will be stabilized. Then the second thing is also processing. Then remember, so and then the third one is a reintegration. Now the stabilization involves how you can have some skills to cope with what you're going through, that distressing a trauma. And it is, for example, the person going through flashbacks and nightmares, intrusive memories. It's also involves thinking about managing your emotions and regaining a sense of safety within your own mind and body. Now, these skills should be very helpful in your everyday life.
Yeah,
that is what it is. It's number 2. It will also benefit should you choose to go on to process some of your past experience in therapy. That's processing number 2. Number 3 is what involves regaining aspect of your life that you may have lost since experiencing these difficulties and these traumatic experience. And we need to understand what, when you are going through processing now, when you are going stabilization now, what do you have to do? And I think what it entails. Now, your stabilization now, when you were going through that, there are certain things you should take note. For example, stabilization, say any panel, you why who say BBSC, say ya abuse me, and me tibia me woman. This is red. This is what is happening to me. A bed then met me a free say in my back. Stabilize it. And because when you are going through that, it affects you emotion, it affects you mentally, and it affects you also psychologically. Na me notes kakra me prepare me de buy no. Ma me emoso kakra. Na yehu hawa ebesi edi aye. Because maybe say when Nipana abuse and goes into some kind of shock and a survival mode, and you know there are signs up there when you might feel tensed, and as a tension, shaking, flashbacks, and reliving rage, impulsivity, and all respond without thinking. When that you are in that kind of this is what you go through, and then you find yourself
reacting on some situation.
exactly. And
so you are not of yourself.
exactly. Then you find yourself in a window of tolerance. These are some of the signs you can reflective, able to think, calm, rational, and present. Then the third one is hypoarousal. That's you freeze and you flow. The signs are down here. Say you feel numb, cut off, low energy, passive, and vacant. Me who say me say a tree no papa.
Me say kakra ne say I say we low, one kasankasa no. I say why you vulnerable. I say you are not. You won't cash you will go down on yourself.
Yeah.
You can who force any pemukrano. You are not equal like other human beings.
Yes, I cry, be you for.
Good. And then because when you have been abused now, it affects your emotion, your whole body chemistry also affects, and how you feel, and into your emotions. No, can be said it becomes difficult for that person to regulate his or her emotions. And it's not you go into that kind of state. Now, if a friend is saying, you need some skills. You have to deal how to overcome this form of abuse. Then a bit because it me nervous, you become anxious, you become fear and all that. It may affect my own na papa na because of that, so one reason it can create physical health problems. That's what you experience in your body. Now some of it, stress hormones can also releases into your system. Now when that happens, and my wife can be say it can create high blood pressure for you. That's one of the causes because stress hormones, what they do is they can increase your blood pressure. They can even cause diabetes. So it has abuse is very, very, very bad. So you will be can say apart from say oh handy pana against no a bit my Sunday yare so san bring ni pebiano.
Milasi minister me pacho yemra say titiru ye kasa kire Ghana for ne ye kan twi moyi ne ma ne bi ho ase ya pai mu yi na omo ante ya se yi a wa hwa na akoye kwasiko no gina nkwantia o kan bi say diabetes nim ne ade sa na me de me chaati no omo a manim for can be say tuntum for blacks for and diabetes nim ne ade ta ye ne ade I know say some of them are caused by genetically say na nanya bi na ma me na musa but yenhwe when they can abuse asem unya sure say obi o se me me yira tena me ni ku atena mpofiri mu a ebi a asa oba no mfa no baba be ma no mfa no oko eyi ne ekoye ne brate say wanya diabetes wanya we nti wuti se de ani to fom pa na se hwe ene ma ye ka ho asem a ye ntimi ye ntum se our born ne abuse ne ade ka ho bi ene nko ye diagnose nipa bebre diabetes ne high blood pressure ne ade unknowingly ya can be of course o bro ne ye odidi idatem o cheat ni ku cheat ni yire sa ya ne ade nyina we don't know but na wie ye no ye ntimi nka se sa ne me ya ye kan ho asem e abuse ni na de sa ne me ye bi no eba
ebi kan
our bonnet
yeah ebi kan ho enema bebre said the can betimi aye genetic but our reborn is so betimi the sad and so abapa
oba no huna ma no de hu bi on pekasa
yeah
oba ma no huna ma no de hu on pekasa
obi papa on pe wo kan no be ko obedi di watem e na on pe sad and no na wakana no atum da bia na wamia na no enti inside no opra but on I say oni bibi obeye afa ho enti na stress na wo ka no na stress hormones na ba
ade a ya kra kese ne say okay wa hospital kra me diagnose no ya man drugs sanka duro de ke ma wa na ka che ya de no kan say mra from yes so da bia ba kwa fe ni atu aduro so because the source no abuse no enyae
Debbie
aduro no
ya be camera ya ni ya kasa chiro bi ni atu obi fo ede so for me the preaching ibem akasa chiro bi matu obi fo say da bia we re kwa na ase ya tu na duro no no da bia ukunku ana ase ya tu na duro no tore bo amom ye ntra ase ne enwe ho emusa ne assess ye
environment
na timu no ne said de ne ma ekoso ya hwe se ebi kura na empanifo se ka utwa owoti a said de aka kire ahoma because of say we don't deal with the source the source no nti da bia na me
problem no rise
afia rise we have be me ye nya diabetes ye ne niam na afi edu park so na oba ye no so we no so asanya asem
what papa sama wo kan ni ama make de ma maka bi e de ato so ne say enipa bia ye nipa one way or the other no enfum so betimi aba na bi kura ye ya asofo ni adi kura no one way or the other obetimi abuse me a ensem a ye kan wa ebetimi aba ya kwemu but ya na wani ba wo so na hu oh ade am de we ma anya ni here enipa na koma beto ne yem
that's right
enti ade na entimi enya hoden anyini na nkofa oham ne yare ne nyama bebre mre yen but ade na oye ne enye but obe insist say maye aden me aden no wakeke bi kura ka ho oba de wo how dare you now crown usuno uba ne me usuno ukunu ne me all these things
malamu get say ne yiro hu no bobo na ne yire ne ya bobo
ukra mi hu bobo na mware all these things no pressure ne be rise more enti I'm sure program we I don't think say na be because some the doors because be quite trouble say I think we should take time and talk about abuse one by one please.
Abuse one by one oh dear I'm say do ye di kan physical one na ke verbal one so na verbal one no na ye kan no ene me bo bebre say e ba the yari bebre na eba the effect of
ebia in the first place the verbal one ko mu ma de kro
verbal one say
verbal abuse
udidi without them udidi ku atem ke mema ni din utimi e bema usori ade nchen kwa na obusebusa wo bema ye ka mema o kan ho ye ka ma o kan ho kasem ya no de a chere ni no de a chere
ni ka pe na atini pani sumsum
sanity
no pa no wa be abuse when you depression
utimi ye nipa o ka chere bi se utimi ye nipa wa plan
eno no verbal abuse no ye ade eno so ehu pa eno no kra no it creating more mental problem manipa
yes
now some of it
onam nyina no odwene
good and I'm gonna say me mabogo bi so ebi wona ma ehu kra shi nipa no e mane e cause depression
low esteem
good low self-esteem cause eating problems cause nipa nipa become irritable anger issues and it's a whole lot verbal abuse no more serious so say ya bobi say bo cry na dia kutwan down but we know e betimi aka affect nipa brain at say wa bia wotimi sineti bia
me na bi oba brochire when she am ka mu fie obi aba
bia say ba ko be ka tire
me na do ba brochire
verbal abuse
so anything no eno mom de ade ehu pa say ya nhwe say bia verbal abuse utimu a necessarily na bia want to know kunu wadu atem you know wadu atem we are useless we are hopeless we dey want nya bi papa bia na say ni ade aware ye ba e wunye bibia wunye say ni ade e ti say da bia na obelete nipa no eno ya ade a ebetimi akoso trauma amanipa no ebetimi a create problem like intrusive memories memory gaps disorders sleep issues eating problems and any nyina ya ade a
eating problem enu na peke the year ya na okofeduane adi year na
wanye kese a na so ate se na kan obi ono e bank sa ni obedi disa obi oso na ontimi ni din oso fon ano ofon because asema obi ka kire and ani kunu ana na yire ka kire eni nti ana akofa sa ayi abrɛ no na
abrante bi at the GWAC or say sexual denial causes mental trauma and can lead to sicknesses like blood pressure, stroke, madness. The damn bokreba.
Say that the ambo so enu bia
no.
Yeah, no correct. Say ne de say wo ni nipa no an say wo avoid nipa no pese.
Da bi wa be hia be no kasa be no kasa. Enya be fo na edo ne yire ne ho ka.
Yeah.
Onya sam so no afa wachi. Wakwa akofa obi fofo.
Yeah, but da say na na ma ka say wontimi fa wo yire wo ho ka me okun. Ana say wo ho ka me wo yire. Because adia ema aware na eye fact ni gina no eye aware for oba ni kunu Asia. That is a pama etimi da mum to say mo ye honam ba ko. It is no ma something is missing. That something is missing so there it can affect ni pano ni feelings, ni emotions and mentally it betimi affect no. And a dear quan my aunt Mikunemina, dear quan my cry, Mirina Mena. What for some some same money at them.
And me cry, make it say, maybe I didn't drink.
And then many panel, the self esteem, and a friends in the mood near the night, Mrs. Son.
I'm sorry, I'm in Kainam, and wife needing come up at the point to be an air can say. We nipa and then we been strong, we been ensuing just strong. I dear be wa, me make me a dream home patch and yam shade. But will be wa sad some chronoa.
Yeah, they're okay. It's a set definition of pain.
That's right.
Yeah, nine years. Me pain, I dear be pain a man, that be a pain.
And only as a
dear be pain a man, a be a pain a man. I dear be pain a man is a champion. And to pain, you need definition. Level. So may make us say a pain. So we a doctor now, so we a nurse. I have to accept that because men are meaning me body. I'm say I deal with pain for mommy. Until they may make that is my definition of pain. Until you have to accept it. So also no be also said you all can. Until now dear be over only pan say we dear. And yet until I was say ye our if we yet me who you have said one ha.
And I don't know what you do also we as a muma but the other person
woman until I just take this opportunity not be a kakra me can say into we are there say we remodida. Let's have a me bruni and ranty na mobile. A very very important some beko counseling. Now wetimi steady mo ye be kyerɛkyerɛ mo na mo be hu we nim nyina abuse ni communication ni enema wa wawe man san na ma yeden mawuram na because mu hu sa adema we nyina ye bobɔ so ni nyina yeden ɛbɛboa bibi otumi hu steady otumi hu sɛ de ukun no ositie anasa we no ositie wo nya ni nyina 100% de but hu majority of how the person is ebeboa pan san live with
when him say wasem a wo kan ya wura sa GWAC am bondi as I say due to the great impact of abuse in marriage it is very important to be embedded in premarital counseling or to be reviewed often. Okay, mo aware no some review and na mo so afraid am aware no le hia se no nti etimi ne wife say e cancer e will be say goals and awareness and e may be
goals and awareness
goals na we no awareness ne be ba de e kan say ne may be when you are told even before you get in and then you are aware say ade na akwa wura mu every by betimi abase nti ba say how do we handle it because of say yen siki afutuo bia okohia obi o party ase a oka so mame no mame kan say kra yen ko have a cup of tea ko ne ko have a cup of tea keke no yen ko out no odi na chini ne ko out no sma wa
no ne ho ye mefe
ya famumi enu mo antena se ye musebusa mo questions ne ade enye hwe eti owura wie na bibi kitwa bi say na dwen nyina en say
enokre
enche ye digmadi no kwa wie o be se miti edu pe enonti yegusu hwem se bibi o na ese kenkan ne titi a ye be hwem na ya kenkan
one of the abuse they can sexual part or mema fem say we know now what
about
okay we are now ukun no na what about say e bi nso a Is there anything so be anya where say uku no better na you know better now be force on another that kind of abuse. What are you saying about it? Because I know
okay. I did be out chema. That is I say you call into different cultures. Na where the African chief from enter me. And I make us said I bring in you see a titi and I see free my buy. Ya baba to different culture of Kromano. Senior or bar any bearman she musitium. It's nipa you know. And I agree, and that's almost consenting. And you know, it matters to say before you enter into that kind of sexual relationship and a sexual intercourse with your wife or your husband, there has to be some form of agreement. And then can be said, there have to be boundaries in the marriage. There have to be respect, taking into consideration. Say, me kunu me ye hon ye me say your body ni sit here. Wouldn't nipa na net na say you sit here. Se nipa no so hwe nanim se hu se na de wa bre wo so mba bi say enye okra na ba say wo hu nim due o enti wo ye bibi ne se a bibi ampusuwa na che se wo no hu se wa ka se wo nipa due na nim ti se de wo de ye wo ye na bi bo yekro no ka hu se se ne sitiefa wo ti no widim se me ye bibi tia nipa due na affect me enti in the same way no de ntia me kam de akofo nya ne se aye no e kire se they have to agree consent.
That's right.
They will have to do some sort of maybe play around, romance, blah blah blah, or bedroom and sana. Oh my damn, they get into that action. Yeah, be bro so no. Entesa. Sebi, said that yen you man be arguing me say. Be ma crowd you be power. I say where then. And ye ja home man 10 times say so we cheap.
He said they can ware for us.
Said that I did mo aso ko and dem mu kra so o pese wo no yere da. Oh so by no my bre. Na he say enti no say ye me man e free Africa si ba no. Ye hu ne say. Ni so me say o ka se wa bra. Bi ananya sa na wo pese o che. Enti no na je say me no e prefer so kaka ni ade. Enti ye hu ne say me ya abuse. But boni susu de o be fa na say abuse and answer why then. What rape no bra.
Report to me say ni kwa rape. Na say yeah no ku tie de ku rape.
Good. Na the meaning say that the meaning say kroma na se bi o ne oba no ana be ma mo tifi. No ma separate. So no mo nya awarefo. Almost say we have separated. Na ubu na down bedroom say be mienu miensa na ya be man de baby no ba no so da baby. It is a be man ko pe no asem ekọ da oba no ekọ to hwe no so no dia ho na so that so mutifie ba ko
mutifie ba ko se munim se mutifie ba ko so mo nam kwa so amuja ya wade obi ada
good and a friend is saying yes you be so no wontimi ka say wo ne ukunu ana wo yire mo separate na nyam tifie ba ko tambia ba ko efrifie na ba ko tifie sa na ye di hu no enti say once amu fie amu ya ware for separation ba mu na say tifie on kwan de aware ne hui eni ti say ba ma e ba ho na so no e di agro ukunu no na so no da wi na report say we rape ana say bi sa na
ye mfa say rape
ye mfa say rape.
Because how do you
say rape? And no culture bia or say name ka say you see you bring an ehia pa any village.
I think it's like you rightly said earlier on, even since last week in I think say never be who nim na ni nim even at all if you cry the ni nyina rape na nim na ni you ade ni nyina na say do we no kun. But it has to be a consent.
Yeah.
Maybe yes, be a term say papa bi so no ba kura be da ochechire no bo empem.
Oh Ghana.
Ghana.
Wow, look at this.
Ochechire na abuse. I mean when you
abuse.
What? Why no chiro na we dey oba no jira hin
be who dey
why you jira what
what do we run dem what do we run dem what what do we run dem tu ye mpam no tumi chiro
what chiro abom pem
that is be an oba
so we are
and also se chinchina on.
Obasane wa na just we na ne bo atọ de asane wa ba.
Abuse. Sexual
abuse and kasapa.
Sexual abuse.
When they double abuse.
What is true about them?
Zata na ne mpanwa. Ebia owo esoro ni ade ni.
That one matter. I'm a kind of Bia, and then you Susana, Papa be on Monos, and you blame abuse. And you blame us, or then you didn't so how yours are. It's Papa Johnny was so missing your quota. It's Papa John, who you call or bad about, or some so missing your quota. That's what you say because yes, you had it. Sagudi was here. I good, yeah, and so where then. Any dear council, and they said will be a consent to it. Send a bear and confa a prayer, and I say, how many year be Emma? Because send a papa walking, send a papa is what teacher obey a good deal, and near the teacher or so. Oh, I don't know. I can't for no be it's a banner there. Sir, you were on farm, one year just selfish. Say receive abuse, say, now who will be the going and send Papa, I didn't know bumper. There be. And say a form of abuse. Yeah. You, I see a child here, it made them call you a man from Free Benkuman, some princess. Now, I'm saying, your time, take a running up. Now, can be big class will be or go through abuse. Now, or go through anxiety, depression, sleepless nights, and then problems will be or go through. No, and when you make a crown on beat me, I catch and beat me. I send a bear, be a Nipano abuse who can not come a cray a book pre-crown and your bay. Baby a bremum, sir. And into a bremum will be mudia, that. The best at was a head of from Yamma, already as me club, my beat me at once. But in I fancy I say, I have an abuse and may be brave. So that can need no money in him. Say, abuse your idea about a wife for one at the how can see a back in no more fidium honor, more muscle, more dachi. More wokono na sa na mudua ya na fifi attract muscle. And now why you abuse you never can na so a won na wonim say you abuse no so nyabobọ so bebre. Into one say sign when the course of our mu a form of abuse. It is seek help. Mainly when it's too late. Yeah. Like I said, bombarding seek help. But me marriage counseling or more help down break down relationship problems in marriages near that. There are so many organizations that are dealing with that. We a Christian so or software or that was software no or warrior said that the any mind or more experience in life. To make us almost church our my omu bibi umunage na bibi so mutimi eka e dia etu for me etimi dia boy ama ya warrior koso ko hu omo na no omo kasa na fa wasem to omo anim na afei so amo akwankyere bia akwankyere no no bi ni o enye se wo koma you bia akutua osiame ama o you bia na se first cabra enye friends akomkyere ma na ye fa nko he atwea mountain na be mi kokko bompa na adom sa akwankyere papa be nya bitimi help marriage ene se obekọ osofo anim wedding o ma wari achise ma boda ene ma din o mo experience o betimi atu for no niema anko ye ni niema bia betimi ba bi kwa na wo kwa wo ba no kwa wo ye ni be bia e trigger be ma no ma na bi su osusu nim obi eno ho ye 100% of where they want you train e bia wo so ko prepare bibi na bibi so akofa aba se ne be ya wo so be ye wo so wa fam die na sa abuse so e da aba fam ene nti no we ne di jam na met ni jama ma so ene da no mato aso Mrs. Ufana West ne say
Ufana West the way that make me say men suffer in silence because they kika ni na dey serious mu pa ne say wo mu na wo de wo mu say na wo na afi na wo suffer e wo men suffer e wo na emu try say wo be dey wo be seek help and I say be kra wo be kra be kokra you can even start from your GP dey bo boss nyina GP betimi advice na watch the right place I was so ko na obi na o say oni especially verbal one na ma me bi ko draw bi ni bi o say ni kunu ha no o tete ne kasem no me ade ena dunsini ni ka chance onko pe jata no for isu emra no say na jata no say na o de kwan abefa so ade o de bebre me no what the bram ya me the be drama ni tie ma ne se ma me ni timi struggle ya akopɛ jata no fusuo jata oye obata ne no fusuo de ba na ma de ade ka chen se watimi ekwan a wo fa so a wo de dada jata na wotimi nya ne no fo emu nsuo twe ba ne fa sa asetena no ekoye de ema wo ni tie ma ne se na o abuse ni kuno verbally yema your communication and she ye hu kra ka asem e de kire wo kunu ka asem e de kire wo re na ebeba ebeye ni ji wo mu fie ho masa abuse bi kra sorry a ebe brase.
Amen. Amen.
Kakra me so me de beka ho ni say ene ewiase aye hu obetie yes we wo kwa adwuma mu akotwa hwe we brain hemorrhage so many things and I cost ba wo be hwem no stress a e wo fie no stress a e wo fie no na di we nyina baba tenam say ne ye di ka aka ne bi o ho a inside na wunhu nti no ku aye kakra tu ba hwe one day pe na aginsem na ye ho bibia enye yi. The essence of this program any say ubenya asumdwei na wo dia atena wo fie nti muma entiase enipa bia ye nipa obia won shortcomings obia asofo bishop or whoever obia won shortcomings na obi bebu say adan na wo dia wutimi ne wukun etena for all these years any say asamu ahiba ade a mempemi hu but the way I treat it no the way I treat it my titi ye ho ase obi eni wa ni ku ana na yiri 100% obi a e wo the weakness but e kwan abefa so a treat na ebeboa ama asumdwe aba ofie eno nti enkwan a eso twitwa ententem kwalakitin kiti bo hwe eso yewu wosine ti na ye ne ya wosi weni no me de ahia me pa ba ni nyina behwem no e ya sumdwe a eni fie ti mama ye mo ye ho modin se ye nkrokra ye ho ye titititi ye ho ase se bibi ni na wukun se wo mpe o yire se wo mpe ti na se e na monta e wo asumdwe mu manu esi papa
ye da wase eni wukun na o yire ntina asumdwe mu abusia ya semo a efi na otweme no kan ne se the causes and the effects of abuse in marriage and what we can do to avoid those things. Ebi a no bi busa se sa abuse no kra no won finfin na se me ankasa me brofo no e kira se abuse ne se ade a yede ye wa anya ode no ode ye wo yonko sade a wonim se oyire na de ye wa anka wo mpe ade a wonim se wukun na de ye wa anka wo mpe no so de ye no you are abusing that person. Abuse no so ya kire se de nyama bebreba adwemu atenkamu nipaduamu emebinumu etimi ye ehufo by force emebinumu timi twe om ho free nipamu so abuse ye so abuse ku a abusia men kan sesa amra ahwe ya obetimi adem ewo ho ebise ekum nipa ese nipa na so mia wani na so yi abuse free wa we you obro nsam free wa wade eni je baba bibia nu asem bia nu a de sika na etwa asem bia e de ano ene eka ni edi kan bomode so no ukun be kasa bomode so no yire be kasa bibia yakoso wo montem bia anye yi a toaso fako asafo mpanimfo asofo mpanimfo hwan no mo na be honso bi ebesie so ye wi asini nso we ye Kristo ni kura nso atoda bi o ha you can even go to enya no your first choice yes do baby e yetimi ko baby ko counseling counselor be recognize aban counselor no akono no akosiki afutu ye wogidi ni areshe mu se kakra nyame betumi e de niema atutuye enya e wo sumu ase na kina ko munya ama ho munya ku munya ayere ho munya o maame a wa bra wo ho a na cafe aka wo bebe no wa ba be ujei bra wo maame ti ase abuse ameni ka bebere ahwere wo mo our bonity enti ene nyame yi esi ho yeda owura na oyira yere e champon ase so Yesu amada ho fro so nyame ma ye ho kwan a ye betimi asan afre wo mo ansana no mo nyina monitie onyame enhyira mo nyinaa na wo twese na de onyame de bema ye no eno na ye de beba
Yami Shra, bye bye.